Hello, 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 and welcome to another One Lion of Code. I am One Lion, and as you can see, BitGamey is back. He did a short stream today. Ciao for now, BitGamey. Enjoy your errands. Thank you so much for your stream earlier. It was so much fun. I'll give you a proper shout out in a little bit. But yeah, hi. Welcome to the stream. Today we will be continuing our journey with the Yay, bots connected financial management tracker. As promised on Wednesday, today's Wednesday. On Monday, we finished up, I'm going to call this finished up, the redesign of the landing page. And so today we're going to start the process of hiring an actual developer, not just a designer, to do the UI implementation. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, you know, we're the developer. We're also the client that's hiring the developer. We're also the designer that created these. And we're going to pass it off to the developer. And the developer is going to be like, what's up with this background? Are you sure this is supposed to be like this? And we're going to be like, shut up. Did my best. And then actually, where is your background? Oh, right here. Make fun of my designs. I'm gonna say it just like that too. Go there. I've already got imposter syndrome. Yeah. He's just gonna keep going. Why are you there? What's going on? You're very, very confused, little one. Okay, so you and you, actually first, you need to line up. And why are you whiter? I thought we already did all this stuff with the background and everything. Did I give someone else access to this and they're starting to mess around with my design? It's all me. The answer is it's all me. Oh, Peter, are you doing Community Day on Friday? Yes, I will. I will treat Friday as if it were any other day of the week. Or any other Friday. That's what I meant. Is everyone lined up now? Okay, so the only thing is the bottom of this is actually lined up. Cool. The bottom of this isn't. There we go. Okay, so, yeah. Anything else weird before we pass this off to the developer? I mean, the whole design is weird. There's something off about it, but I don't know how to fix it. And if anyone does have ideas on how to just polish it that last little bit that we need in order for this to be fully professional, cleaned up, nice looking, I would greatly appreciate any input. But if you don't have any input, that is also absolutely acceptable. Don't I have a gradient for the background as well? I has no input. Well, that's acceptable. Acceptable. Deceptible. But yeah, we're gonna do code today. So let's. I've never graduated past UI designs in Microsoft Access 97. Man, I really, really wish that I had a shallow version of my financial management tracker. I mean, I thought that I made one so that I could show it on stream. So that you can see what the goal of remaking this thing entirely is. Budget stuff. Tracker. Yeah, I just need to make a version that has fake data so that you can see why I desperately want this to be done. Because I really am going to switch to using this as soon as we are finished with the UI redesign. Although I really want to start using it now because it is, like I said before, usable. I just need to migrate the data over from the existing structure to the new structure, which will be tons of fun. Okay. 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 Activated. So, let's have our conversation as the client with our UI designer. And the client will ask the designer, where are we at? The UI designer is going to be like, well, we have gotten a lot done. Oh, that's what happened. And of course, during the meeting, the UI designer is going to be like, and I just saw an issue that wasn't there before, but is suddenly there now. So I need to fix that live so that I can say I'm finished. How often does that happen? Let's go there. This is real life, people. This really happens. Yeah, so why? It doesn't look like that there. And that means that it should have been updated here where it's used. So why are you acting like you can't stretch taller? That was really weird. Was it not? Hello, good VJ. Happy Wednesday to you. I hope all is well. This means I will need to adjust everything again. Stop it. Yeah, it still looks weird here. Why do you still look weird? Is it this button? This button is supposed to be a smaller? No. It's very weird. So oh man. I just thought of a feature that I want with in Figma. I want a split screen. Is that a thing? Now you can do guides. Oh, I need to look that up. But I want a split screen. And hello, TBD Gamer. Fantastic stream this morning for you as well. We're winning. What are we winning at? And how do I join? Oh, you know what? Maybe if I reset. Oh, duh. I squished this to be more narrow, and that's not growing and shrinking the way that it's supposed to. So the thing that's supposed to happen then is the part of this, not you. I don't know, some motivational words of the day. Works for me. Works for me. Appreciate the sentiment. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to make this thing fill. That is what it's doing. We're going to make contents left fill. We're going to make this button fixed. Actually, hug. What? I have no idea why that got taller. And then the actual this thingy needs a bigger. Oh, you're so confusing. Okay, I really need to figure out this component here and figure out why things are not quite lining up the way that I'm expecting them to. It's acting like Yeah. Hug. Yeah, why aren't you filling up the entire height of this thing automatically? And I set you to hug because this thingy here is supposed to hug. Okay, there we go. That should fix us. Okay, then inside of here, you should be top. There we go. And you should be hug. Are we good now? Are we good? I think we're good now. Hopefully this is the last thing that we need to do before we start doing the actual development. Yes. Yes. Oh, thank goodness. All right, so let's just finish out the background placements for our design, and then we will start implementing this design. Oh man, it's going to be so nice being back in code. Wait, where's the track transactions back? Actually, do I just move you down? I think I do. So let's see what happens if we move all of you down. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then we just need you to be taller. And there we go. Okay, now we are talking with the client. Someone had fun naming that situation. Hug. Purple your favorite color? Actually, it's not my favorite color. It's a color that I really, really like using for apps and UI and stuff. I really, 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 really like it. Here is my, actually you saw it down here. Here's my company's logo. And here is my browser that I use for streaming, which I don't have one open on that screen. Here is the bot. So yes, I really, really like using purple and seeing purple. Yeah, so whenever I do blues with apps, I mess up. And it's a lot easier for me to not mess up when I use purples, I think. That could be a bad thing. Why is the test site down? Hello? She's out of office. Yeah, that's not good. Are any of the other apps down? All of the apps are down. No. Derail. I need to log into the servers real quick to figure out what's going on. Things are not as they should be. So, off screen, I am logging into the server that the apps are hosted on. No, I'm not. Oh wait, yes I am. Oh, I need to put chat somewhere else so that I can see it for a bit. Oh yeah, and TBD, don't worry about looking away from the camera when you're reading chat. It's normal. It's a normal thing. People don't get offended by that. It's July 3rd. Nobody's working anyway. I don't know who at Navarro works today. Where's my email? Yeah, and I haven't gotten any email from the people I would have expected to get an email from. And I'm just wondering if it's my computer, because the sites are definitely showing as up. July is when our certificates expire, but I renewed them. Oh yeah, they are 500s, aren't they? So let me check the event log. Thank you for noticing that. Or pointing it out, I guess. Failed to load core CLR. .NET runtime. The process was terminated due to an unhandled exception. Couldn't find a valid certificate. No way. So yes, my certificates did expire. MMC. .msc. Stuff went sideways. The app doesn't have any graceful error handling. Hush you. It does too have graceful error handling. Just not for that one in particular. Oh no. Peter's also dealing with DNS. Well, I guess not also, because yours is different. DNSSEC certificates. Crap. Computer account, please. This computer. Local computer. Personal certificates. This computer's name expired yesterday. Oh my gosh. I could have sworn that I got the message that these were going to expire 60 days ago, and I renewed the certificates. Anyway, they haven't complained yet, so I'm going to do this after the stream. But I will get those certificates renewed. Crap. Thankfully, we have an internal CA certificate server. So it's going to be pretty easy for me to reissue certificates or even generate new certificates if I need to, and just update the thumbprint for my my stuff. What is it called? OpenID Dict. Is it? No, it's called something else. What's the other identity thing that uses? You know what? Just give me the file. Dagnabbit. Give me this. eStore. It's like they say, part of work you would do for free. But I must be paid to do certificate management. This is not a part of work that I would do for free. Like, this is our internal CA certificate server. We aren't even using like a public trust certificate internally. So can I set the expiry for like, you know, indefinite? And then expire them when I need to? Anyway, what are you called? It's just called identity server. But anyway, when I configure identity server, I have to provide the certificate thumbprint and the friendly name or subject name. So I'll get that updated and then update every single app and then stop and start, blah, 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 blah. I wish I had already set up a down for maintenance page. 100 years. I mean, depends, but yes. Like, chances are we would change our server structure before I would need to ever handle our certificates being. I am distracted by that. Our certificates ever being in danger, I guess. Okay, but we're going to focus on this anyway. I do what I say I'm going to do, and we are going to implement this. So as the client, we talk to the UI designer. UI designer says, doesn't a down for maintenance page have trouble working when the certs are bad? Like, yeah, I would have to. I have a rule on the IIS because they are all on the IIS that says redirect all traffic to HTTPS. Actually, no, it's on the load balancer. So I would need to add a rule to the load balancer that says go ahead and direct any HTTP RMA-cloud. I mean, we did see that though. Why did we see that actually? We saw it redirect when I went to here. So my test server certificates aren't dead yet. But that also means that my test this app is dead. That really oh no, duh. Because this one doesn't have certificate? That doesn't make sense. I'm so confusing. This one has certificates. They are non-expired certificates. But the server is responding with the correct page. Even though our public-facing page would also be behind a HTTPS thing. Whatever. Okay, so the CA cert might also have an expiry, which some things ignore and some don't. Certs are fun, but note for chat. That is sarcasm. I have so much anger at certs. And then TVD Gamer said to Peter, I pretty much assume sarcasm from you. It's a safe assumption. Peter says, smart. Is that sarcasm though? Makes you think. Too much. Actually, no. You can do more. You can do better than that. Where are we? We're talking with the UI designer. We're saying, hey, UI designer, what do you got? It's been about 6 hours since we last talked. Have you made any progress on the things? And UI designer's like, yes, because I don't say no to my client. Yes, I have made progress. It might not be the amount of progress that you are expecting in 6 hours, but I did make progress. So this is where we're at. Do you like it? Yes, we like it. Oh, no. I say, dang it, stop moving. I say no in creative ways. So I say no without saying no. Where are my... I don't know where my... my this. Delete message and oh, I can't ban user and delete message. Whatever, doesn't matter, it's gone. Thank you, I really appreciate it. Yeah, I heard you talking about that. You just copy and paste in the message from the bot, and they pretty much action it right away. Yeah, I was just going to ban them from our channel so that it's on the shared ban list. Okay, actually, now's a great time to do a shout out for Big Gamey. Big Gamey was in here. He was first and he needed to step out for an errand, and I told him that I would give him a shout out and then just didn't. So now I am. And then in a little bit, we will also do a shout out for TBD Gamer. But while we're waiting for that, here's a clip from Big Gamey's stream. He streamed earlier today for an hour-ish just to say, hi, I'm back. Here's what the game plan is. Here's where we're going throughout the week. No more distracted Fridays, just his racing game thingy, the return of Gamey. So let's just take a look at what you could expect. Oh man, I love his stream so much. It's so much fun there. Okay, so in a little bit we will do TBD Gamer as well, as soon as my shout out cooldown is done. Designer, where are we at? Designer says, hey client, we are at a point. Oh yeah, I was kind of saying that. So I have no problem saying yes to the client if it means one, something that I am actually agreeing to, and two, something that I am going to go along with them until they have their attention directed to why that might not be a good idea to go with it. And they make the decision, all right, let's actually not do that. Which is kind of manipulative, but at the same time, I think that it just, like, when I've encountered it, it's been a much easier, fluid discussion as opposed to saying, no, we can't do that, or not right now, or we are super busy and this and this and this, as opposed to saying something more like, well, yes, we can do that. We are looking at these other problems. Would you like us to focus our attention on that instead? Because right now it is one or the other, and usually get good feedback, get good communication, and it's just easier to talk with them. Okay. Out of breath. So essentially I am saying no to them. I'm just letting them say no to themselves, or leading them to say no to themselves. All right, so that out of the way, UI designer says, we are ready to give this to, or do you guys have any changes that you want to make to this? This is what I've come up with, and we are ready to give it to the developer. Do you have a developer in mind that you want to use? Because I would like to get with them while they are implementing this to see if they have any changes to make as well. And I had such an amazing time with the designer that did the redesign for the app that I used to work on. That dude was talented. I really loved his redesign. Okay, we are good to go. Hello, Dukasoft, a developer who loves CSS. I mean, I kind of do. I'm really starting to enjoy my time doing this. As long as it's someone else's design. The I did get a little bit of a boost when I made at least this top part I'm happy with. Well, not on the ultra wide. This part of it, I'm happy with it. I like how it looks. I don't know what to do with the backgrounds on the sections because they look a little bit empty in a non-appealing way. So I do like the idea of using white space, but I am not using it correctly, I don't think, in these situations. But we're gonna see it in practice. Was that here? That was here. Thank you so much for the follow. And the problem with having Bardaki's stream turned up a little bit too high is I don't know if the notification noises are on this stream or his stream. So I turn them down a bit. Okay, so client says, yes, we do have someone in mind. It's the person that actually did the original development for the application. So we're going to invite them back and have them do the redesign for the UI. So now we're the developer. We get a call out of the blue. Client says, hey, busy? We're like, yes. Would you like to? We're like, yes. Because it's development work. And that one is harder to say actually no to. Good job. It would suck to have them go with someone else at this stage. Yeah, if we were going to roleplay as someone else, I really would roleplay as this is the first time we're seeing the application. And I would complain about the things that I would have complained about another developer leaving me when I picked up the application. I'd be like, why are they XYZ? Why did they choose to this? We're going to go ahead and rip this whole thing out and replace it with this. Oh, right. And my cooldown should be done. So here's a shout out for TBD Gamer. Check out TBD Gamer Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Time, UTC -4. He is going to have the day off on Thursday. Actually, you said Thursday, Friday, and Monday and Tuesday, I think? Did I mishear you or misremember? Anyway, he's working on Mondays and Tuesdays on a game. He's learning Godot. Slightly. I have all of next week off, but I have tomorrow and Friday too. Okay, so it's tomorrow through Friday of next week. Very cool. He is going to be hosting. If anyone is interested, please give him some feedback. He's posted in our Discord and on his own Discord. He wants to do a community day style question and answer. Let's talk through this application that he works on during his stream. It's called Liquid Sky, and it's a project planning application. I keep wanting to call it a project management application. It is essentially a project management application. You can think of it like a more developer-centric version of Jira or Azure DevOps. But he works on that during his stream. He's using a lot of really cool technologies with it. He gets down on himself for using so many different technologies, but it's still really cool to see just the experimentation with those technologies and see how they're actually used or can be used in practice. So check out his stream. Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern. Good times. Okay, so developer was hired. We are hired. We get the access to Figma read-only with a couple of things. So first of all, designer's like, wait. I need to clean some stuff up. Before we give this to the developer, we need to move layout sections. So let's grab this and this and this and this and this into that page. Send to page, move to page, move to page. Layouts and sections, those are gone. Section backgrounds, move to page, layouts and sections. And so what we get here on this page are only the things related to the landing page actual put together design. I mean, I kind of also, I really would like to go ahead and put this in a separate page, the design sections of it, but I think it still makes sense to put here. So, okay, let's go ahead and make you wider now that we have some space. Change your layout to be horizontal. Have you hug contents. Squish you over here. Okay, and landing page we will set as ready for development. So this little button here is going to indicate to the developer, this is ready for you to start doing work on. And so developer comes in, they're in developer mode. I've never used developer mode before, by the way. Thank you so much for the follow, River Crocodile. Do I need to run? And thank you for the cheer, for the bits, for the emote massively massified and embiggened. A little happy that we're going to do some actual coding. Interesting. Absolutely. So here we are with our new redesign. Since we are since we're coming back to this project after what, 2 months of not touching it. Again, yes, I am the UI designer, but I'm also the developer. For those of you that haven't caught on yet, I like to roleplay. Since we haven't seen this for a while, one, we're going to make sure that the project still builds, and two, we're going to run it and see what all might need to be changed or updated or whatever. And we're going to cd into not the work that I've been doing throughout the day, but the stuff we haven't done forever, which is, this is actually not a good place to start. Let's start here instead. Thank you. All right, cd find man. And we can already tell one of the things we would love to do with this application after we start the redesign and we let the client know that we're doing work towards what they want us to do, we will also ask for permission to update the application to .NET 8. Because right now you can see that we are doing .NET 7 simply by looking at the structure of the application. So we have our server project, which is the hosted server. And when we look at the CS proj, we see that we're in .NET 7. We have the client, which is the WASM front end, .NET 7. We also have a Blazor server only version of it, but once we change it to .NET 8, we won't need that anymore. And creating the .NET 8 project should be really, really easy. Upgrading this to .NET 8 should be really, really easy for us to do. So we're telling the client this, it might take anywhere between, like, I'm terrible at estimating times, but let's say that we were actually supposed to estimate how much time it would take to do the upgrade. I've already upgraded 2 applications to .NET 8 that were .NET 6, both of them were. And the way that I did the first one was I created a new .NET 8 project, and copy and pasted the code over, recreated the files manually instead of just, reusing the same files, because that project was kind of all over the place, and it benefited from having a full cleanup. The second project was the water management app, which was a lot more cleaned up from the beginning. And so it felt really easy to just create a new Blazor web app and reuse all of the shared library. No. Oh dear. Give me this link. Give me this link. Oh, it's going to open in a separate browser first. We'll listen to this shortly. Should TM. So the second project was really just create a new Blazor web app project in Visual Studio and set up all of my project dependencies, update all of my projects to .NET 8 simply by changing this to .NET 8, updating the NuGet packages. And so the first one took about a month to do, and the second one took about a day to do. So I'm gonna say we're gonna say give us a week for the .NET 8 update, if we can have that. But first, we will work on the UI redesign because that's what the client wants the most. That's what is most important to them. And client's like, let's see how far you get with the UI redesign, and then we'll talk about that, because they're never going to give you a straightforward answer. All right, let's see what this clip was. Give us a month. Client will use this against you when you miss your time estimate. Exactly. So I really don't know the best approach for letting the client know. Well, actually, yes, I do. In my opinion, the thing that worked for me, and again, the client was never unhappy with the work that I provided or the timeline that I provided that work in. But just talking to them like a human. Like, it should be the project manager having the conversation, and I'm telling my project manager this is how long it'll take me. Project manager does the buffer thing, does the point system, does whatever they do in order to identify the actual complexity of the work that's going to be done and the time frame that I say that I'm going to do it, and their experience of what that actually translates to as far as a time estimate. But I was talking with the client directly and giving them time estimates myself, which is not fun. When it comes to this, do you know all external dependencies? Do you know they've been updated to .NET 8? Is there code in there that is affected by the change in frameworks? That is a wonderful question, and the answer is yes. For this application, so in this case, the financial management tracker, for this application, we know that we don't have any dependencies on stuff like CSV helper or other third-party libraries, and we can look through them, but other third-party libraries that we need to investigate whether or not they have been upgraded to .NET 8 and how the current .NET frameworks and .NET libraries have changed for the new version of .NET. So, for example, if we had identity in here, that entire thing has been revamped, but we could continue using .NET 7 Duende Identity Server locally, or not even locally in the app, and transition that to the new identity later. Everything else that we have in here that is a shared library, we can pretty much just update to .NET 8 and update these things, NuGet packages to .NET 8 compatible packages, because again, they're all either they're all either Microsoft packages or things that we created ourselves and we know are compatible. The one change that we will see that we're going to need to do is here in server, which is going to be just the app itself when we get to it. When we're setting up our DB context, we need to tell it that our database which is this one here, will need to be, oops. Oh my goodness. Compatibility something or other. Anyway, we need to set it to where the compatibility for the server doesn't use JSON columns or doesn't use JSON queries, because my version of SQL Server that I'm using, that the host is using, does not support that because I haven't updated SQL Server. Ubisoft said, or did a dad joke and says, I gave my friend 10 puns hoping that one of them would make him laugh. Sadly, no pun intended. Dependency tracking is a big risk to teams, and the more technologies and libraries we build dependencies on, the more challenging updates are. Here. And I've yet to meet an organization that have a solid answer for this. Something I should probably contemplate before I go too far. Yeah. I like that pun. One pun in 11 did. Did that one land? No. Anyway, we're just checking to see if this runs. That was number one, but that's a great question, TBD. That's something we should definitely have in mind when upgrading .NET versions. And we will run into whatever we run into as developers. We'll plan for it as much as we can. Thank you. We'll plan for it as much as we can. But we'll run into what we run into and fix it. So far, the only two things that I've run into, and I wish, we might still do it, but I wish I had set up identity server in the original .NET 6 version of this that we upgraded to .NET 7, because it would have templated identity server for our WASM identity solution. I went from that to the .NET 8 templates identity solution, which I love a lot more, of course. It's so easy to use. I'm using the same data store, but there were some configuration changes that I needed to make on it. So for example, I don't know, is it in here? Database. Do we have... No, we don't. I was going to say, do we have a user store in here? The database context inherits from revalidating, I don't know what it is, but the identity server database context, base database context. And you can't have that with the new, or you probably could, but I was running into a lot of issues with it with the new .NET 8 Blazor app template. But it's going to be really easy for us to update this project. Okay, done talking. We're now going to see whether the application still runs as is, or if there are changes that we need to make in order to get it to run from the get-go. And the answer is the current .NET SDK does not support targeting .NET 8. Either target .NET 7 or lower. Where are we trying to target .NET 8? Open folder? Oh, the database project, supposedly. When did I do that? Nobody saw anything. Ever. Okay, so we're doing good so far. Oh, right. I have something in my clipboard. Intern got overeager. Love it. Wait. Where's my Better Cootie browser? This one. Give us a window before it starts. Go over here. So look at how long it's taking just for .NET Watch to do its thing. It just now got to started. And it's just now launching the app. I have had builds that take even longer than this. When I updated those two projects to .NET 8, it went like 2 seconds for the build, and then it's starting to launch the app. It's crazy. Okay, so app is running. Again, this is a fake login form, doesn't really do anything. The only way to get to the actual data entry stuff is by going here. Data entry pages look the way that we left them. Like I said, it's functional. It does everything that we wanted to do. You can use keyboard input for this. The math operations actually work. So he says. I mean, we have tests running on the calculator, so that should definitely work. Yeah, it's doing everything that we want it to do. So calculator works. And we enter a transaction. So on the first, we went to our local grocer. Actually, that'd be today. And we spent about 150 bucks, 150 monetary units on groceries. They did like 800 fees. One of them is like a Colorado delivery fee. I don't know if you guys have this in your state for those of you that live in the US, but they've started charging, it was 28 cents and now it's 29 cents for anything that you get delivered. We'll get this delivery fee. It's so annoying. We have a couple of service fees for, I use Instacart. We have sales tax. So they didn't want to raise the taxes, so they added a fee, question mark. I have no idea why it's happening, but it's happening. You implemented a coding kata and then put a UI on it. I have no idea what that means. Didn't this country have an issue with unfair taxation at one point? Probably. I don't keep up with it. Something with tea in harbor. Well, I mean, I was there for that, but I don't think it was as big a deal as people made it out to be. Anyway, we picked the account that we are using to pay for this, and we hit submit. The number updated here. It got added here with a pending because it hasn't processed yet, but let's say that it did process right away because it did. There we go. And did you see that? There are plenty of hidden windows and dialogues that are going to need to be UI designed. So that's going to be fun. For example, this flyout, which is just this data grid in a side panel. Taxation without representation is one of the reasons for the Revolution Boston Tea Party. Thank you, Reg 9K. We now have our history lesson. Okay. So yes, deposits work. I'm assuming payments work. I'm assuming deposits and transfers work. I don't even care about the drop-down list at this point in time because we're only applying the redesign to the landing page, but the app does run and it does look like we have access to the database. Nothing broke. Everything is working as it should. So because we are good developers who have everything on GitHub, oh my goodness, let me get to my page. Right. Right. And I still have this in my clipboard. This was a clip taken not too long ago. .NET, .NET 8, we won't need that anymore. And creating the .NET 8 project should be really, really easy. Upgrading this to .NET 8 should be really, really easy for us to .NET 8. We have verbal proof. I say it's AI, it's a deep fake. We have verbal proof of me saying that this is gonna be easy. We aren't gonna run into any issues whatsoever. Napalm said, guess who figured out they didn't need a deep clone from yesterday? After all, this guy. Yeah. Did anyone give you any better suggestions than the one that I gave you? Because I'm up for better ways to do things. Why are there two? Oops. Do you have an opinion on the suggestion that I gave? So if you don't know, Napalm was asking yesterday about needing to deep clone an object. And if you don't know the difference between shallow clone and deep clone, I will show really quick. Shared. Let's get the database to go away. Shared models. So my response model has a whole bunch of reference objects. Whole bunch or just 2, 3? Collapse, dang it. Okay, so let's only look at response model base. Response model base has these 3 properties that are reference properties, and these 2 properties that are value properties. And so let's say that we had another object, my specific, the thing. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is going to be my response model cache or something. And this has in it, let's just have a public read-only property of count. And we need the public enumerable. Actually, I'm going to make this specifically a list of response model base. Bases are the future. So it's going to be bases.count. And then this is going to be a read-only list that we initialize. You don't like bases? What's wrong with the name bases? Oh, it's not valid for this. Duh. Shh. I know. And then this is also going to have a public string cache name, which is going to be not nullable. But actually, you know what? We're going to make it required. It's lazy. So here's the deal. We want to be able to clone this. And what you could normally do is implement iClonable so that anything that tries to use this knows that it's clonable. And if you're going to clone it, the easiest thing to do is to return an object, because for some reason you can't do iClonable of t of, let's say, response model cache. Response model cache. This would be really cool if there was a such thing as iClonable of t, but there is no such thing as iClonable of t. But anyway, iClonable, which means that you have to implement the method object clone, and you can simply just do memberwise clone. However, what this will do, then quit teasing us. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? You can make your own. So public iClone public interface iClonable of T is iClonable, which gets the method tClone. But you still have to implement both regular clone and tClone. Anyway. Hashtag lazy. But what this would do is it would only clone your readable and writable objects or proper value properties. So what you might think to do, Andreas Sass Dev, hello. We're talking a little bit of theory. Not really. We're just talking about a small thing that was going on. Hopefully, oh no, it's probably just late enough that you're still getting pre-roll ads. Boo. Yes, welcome back. Tell us how your stream went, Andreas, with your waving ducky, although you stopped it already. No, I wanted to see it waving at me some more. Theory is fine. I've been struggling with a whole lot of overriding assets, so I'm glad I did it in one day. Like, you did it all in one day? You finished that aspect of it? So Duka! Yes. We get a for real shout out from Dukasoft's bot. Really cool bot. But hello, Sauce Cord. Okay, so the thing real quick, while Andreas is typing, the thing that we're talking about is the difference between a shallow clone and a deep clone, and the approach that I take for cloning objects. So in C#. So if you can tell, I do C# development. I usually use Blazor for all of my application needs, and I mean all of them: desktop, mobile, web, etc., etc. So yeah, we have a class called response model base. We have another class that has a list of response model base and this value property. So memberwise clone will give you a shallow copy of the object, which means that we'll get back the copy of this object with its own unique ID, own unique instance. That will give you the cache name populated, but bases will not be populated. So you're like, what can I do to fix that? Well, you could start a new return object and say it's the response model cache. So this memberwise clone casted to a response model cache. And then you can set retobj.bases or equals. Wait. I need this to be get set so that I can make the example more convoluted. And yeah. Equals bases. And what happens here then is that you now get a reference in your cloned object, which is its own instance, to this list of bases, which is a reference to it. It's not a copy of it. It is the actual bases. So if you made a modification to the cloned list of bases, you're actually going to be making a modification to this instead. So then the next thing you might think is, let's say that this was actually read-only. And then we do something like add range. This is cool because now this list of bases is its own thing, its own reference, but each of the objects contained within this list of bases is still a reference to the original response model base. And so now we still haven't quite done a deep clone yet. The only thing we've done is a shallow clone and copied in each of these existing references to these models. So the one step that I take that is just that one step further is I do a select clone on these, but that means that I have to implement iClonable, or the actual I actually don't use iClonable very often unless another library requires me to. I just do a response model base clone. And then I have this do the same thing. So var ret obj equals response model base member-wise clone for the shallow clone. And then I populate all of the sub objects by doing it over and over, essentially. So instead of copying these over, I get a clone of the exceptions and validation errors. Another way that you can get a clone for things that have not implemented iClonable and you don't own the object is to create an extension method on them to clone them, or do a JSON serialize, deserialize, or just a whole bunch of other techniques for getting a new instance of an object that you don't necessarily own and can't add clone to. I would prefer the extension method way. Another one is AutoMapper to map. But in the end, we will return the deep copied version of this in its clone method, and then this would be returning the deep copied version of this. So if anyone does know a better way than trying to create a clone or an extension method that gives us a new instance of an existing object, please let us know. All right, so I'm going to catch up on chat now. So Andreas says, yes, overriding assets, whether through dependency injection or through direct calling of an old asset ID, is perfectly working. That is awesome to hear. Congratulations on getting to that. So if you didn't know, Andreas is creating his own game engine and showing us some amazing things with it. I'm almost always in your stream lurking. I don't say very much very often. I'm also not fully paying attention because I am in the middle of my workday. Or beginning of my workday? No, it's middle. You do start streaming about 2 or 3 hours after I get up. So yeah, I would call that middle. TBD says, what's the use case in this situation that requires a deep clone? OG question, wasn't it? The original the original question wasn't in Discord. And Napalm says, I just needed to clone an object and all nested objects breaking references and save to Cosmos. Again, why is this such a pita? Tempted to post something on the .NET SDK repo. TBD Gamer says, I can't recall a situation I've actually had to do a deep clone. I will show you one that I've had to. Well, one of the main ones is change tracking on an object in memory. So that's one place that you might want a deep clone. Oh, pain in the ass. Got it. It just wasn't capitalized, so I was thinking you were talking about the food. But then Napalm said to TBD, I did figure out a way around it, just went with a different design approach that is cleaner anyway. And Andrea says, oh god, you've made me realize I need cloning of my assets as well. Well, that'll be fun. No need, just one line is fine, but I get it. Napalm says, Stack Overflow said to stream it as bytes into memory. Okay. Peter says, I am staying silent because I don't have any experience with this in C#. I've never used AutoMapper, or I've used AutoMapper, but not for cloning. And Andreas says, I know, but I love lurkers. Cool. Very cool. And Peter says, I will say I use Cosmos and haven't needed to clone an object or architect built our architect, I can read. Our architect built our manual object mapping from obj-a to obj-a DTO and save load that from Cosmos. Yeah. And that's another one where it's like, I want to, well, that's not really cloning. I want to map my entity from Entity Framework, my models, to my either view model, the thing that's used in my actual UI view, or my DTO, which is used for communicating information from the API back to my application. So let me open Army of Water. And thank you so much for the follows, Nedbog and Vincent. Thank you. Very many things. So one thing that I guess I should introduce that. First of all, hi, I am one lion. Just one lion. My assets could have nested assets, which could have nested assets. So it'll be a recursion hellscape. Yes, and if you're using Newtonsoft, that is really, really easy. Again, let me open Army Water, because the setting for me is in there. It's easy to get around where you can, or you are using C#, right? I'm pretty sure you're using C#. I know you were using Blazor for your bot. Where is program.cs? So this is the .NET 8 version. This is that first app that I was talking about earlier that I converted from, or not converted, updated from .NET 7 to .NET 8. And here is the database thing. DB, here it is. Use compatibility level 120 or below. And this is the thing that prevents it from using JSON queries. So if you have something that is some array dot contains one of your database field values, it turns that into a JSON object that is used within the query, because you can do that in SQL Server now. But the version of SQL Server that I am using does not support that. So I need to update eventually. So this is how you get around that if you're going to .NET 8 Entity Framework stuff. Here's serializing. So I tell it to give me all the type names. So this helps me with, if I'm serializing an interface or an abstract class, serialize what the base class was, so that when I deserialize, I can use that information instead of needing to write a custom converter. I will just be able to deserialize based off of that concrete class name. This is the one that prevents looping. So if there are references, then instead of continuing to loop those references, we are going to, I believe, replace those with IDs back to the first instance of it. So everything will get serialized with a an ID, you know, the $ symbols in JSON, an ID, and then when you are deserializing, then you deserialize to use that reference instead. And then name value handling, null value handling is just, by default, I say if anything is null or default, don't put it in my JSON string, because that's just wasted space. So yeah, I have another version of this that has one other option. Where is that? Armits, Blazor, shared, Newtonsoft. What did I call that? Serializer settings. Newtonsoft serializer settings. Oh no, I pushed F11. Please don't build. Okay, it's good. Object creation handling is reuse. Oh, sorry. This is the one that keeps us from endlessly looping. Whoops. So object creation handling reuse is the one that will say, if you run into something that would be a loop, instead tell it to reference the first instance of that object that we serialized, that we ran into. And then I thought this was the thing that would keep it. Yeah, I was running into an issue before where it seemed like I couldn't serialize from a camel case property name to a Pascal case property name, but it just ended up being that I had a get internal set, and I just completely overlooked that. I was so blind. Okay, so we are in this project to see my usages for clone. Why would I use clone? One of them is when I am creating a I don't know why I'm using it there. That one doesn't make sense. This all seems to be in my chart API stuff for creating charts. I'm cloning the charts that are in the document. Why? Why are you doing that? I don't know. We'll have to see. Cloning the site sets to be saved. Oh, yeah, here's one reason. Rollback. Duh. So let's say that I have a method that might modify the object that I want to update. So I have an existing collection of things and I want to change some properties on that. And so the thing that I'm sending to the server is, here is the updated object that I want you to make the database match, the database record match. So I clone the original, make my changes, send that to the database and say, update it or save it or whatever. Like, this is copy an existing site set. Yeah. So let's say that failed, then the original site set did not get modified. If I had other rules on here, I could do something like, okay, since the server responded with, I succeeded in making that change, then I could apply those changes. So like siteset.apply and then other siteset is what would get passed in. So those would be use cases that I would use. But just one line, assets, yeah, recursion hellscape, display concern mixed in with settings. Elaborate, please. And then Napalm says to Andreas, yes, and this is why deep cloning can be risky if the object graph is huge. Yeah, definitely. And I do run into a lot of recursion issues with, for example, water management. This one is really fun, and I'll show you why this one... Oops, that was the right... Nope, no, it wasn't. Why this one is really fun. This is the... These here are applications that I work on during my day job, during my normal work day. I will be working on them on stream again in the future as soon as we are done with our stream project. So if you are interested in seeing the stream project, you can see it on GitHub. Feel free to clone it, test it out, contribute to it. Right now we are redesigning the UI for it. We just finished redesigning the landing page, and today we're going to get to start implementing these design changes in actual code. But water management. I don't remember what I changed. But it's okay, because it's all in GitHub, or source control. What was I going to say about water management? Oh, recursive stuff. So one of the things that we have in water management, which I can't show you the actual app because my certificate's expired today, and so can't even get to the live app, which is pretty bad. So we're gonna just, we're not even gonna build. So I'm gonna leave that. We're not even gonna look at this. It's fine. The point is that I have a history tracker that says, take a look at this site and give me back its history, and each of those has a referenced previous site or previous data record. Sorry, it's flows. So think about water going through a pipe, and you measure the volume of water that has passed through the pipe at certain intervals in time. So let's say midnight every day. And so your current reading is going to be some value. Your previous reading is going to be the record for the most recent time prior to the one that you just looked at. And I have a reference to that previous reading, which has a reference to its previous reading, but that also has a reference to its previous reading. So this isn't necessarily an infinite loop, because it will go back in time and eventually stop, but it could be a very deep reference chain. So that's one thing that I think you were just now talking about. So that one wouldn't be a recursive loop. That one would just be a very deep going back to the beginning of time, essentially. Did I have something lying in the project? I haven't looked at the project thingy in forever. You had a parameter into a method that was responsible for returning JSON settings as to how to display it, pretty print or not. True. Because in the UI, I may serialize an object and display it as JSON. All lies. We're going to distract him with other things until the stream is done and no code has been written. I mean, it's whatever content you guys want to see. No skin off my back. But I do agree with you. I mean, I do have stuff like that all over the place. Water. Right. Can't do that. So the stuff that I just showed as an example needs to get destroyed. Go away. Go away. All right. Pools and tubs for you then. All right, hold on. It's kind of heavy, so it might take me a minute to get. I'll at least get my swimsuit on. It's $300 for my next swimsuit change, by the way. Did I say bucks? I meant bits. Okay, anyway. Are new here, and I haven't quite actually said who I am and what I do. I am a .NET. Me too. I'm a .NET developer by day and a .NET developer by night, and a .NET developer while I sleep. So I do .NET development. You only have 81 bits. It's okay for you. There's a discount. And so I used to work for the Rocky Mountain Arsenal as the only developer on the team who needed to migrate a whole bunch of apps from .NET or from JSP to .NET, and then from, at the time it was .NET Framework. So as the new versions of .NET came out, I was upgrading the apps, maintaining them, doing whoa. Gee. I don't think it's ever coming back down. Nice shot. So I was working at that place, converted all the apps, got them moved over from VB6 desktop apps to VB.NET WinForms apps, and then over to Blazor when that finally came out. I'll say this quickly. And then pretty much everything is Blazor now except for one app. So, things happened at that workplace that were not desirable, and so I decided that it was time for me to move to a new workplace, and I got a job at a different place. Oh, I used to stream 6 hours a day, by the way, when I worked at that old workplace. Used to stream 6 hours a day. You got to see a dev doing their day job as my stream content. Then I got a new job working for a consulting firm, and I was no longer able to stream my day job, so I still wanted to stream, especially still streaming Blazor. And we came up with a stream project. You can see it from the very beginning on YouTube. It's in a playlist called P01 Financial Management Tracker, something like that. But if you're interested in seeing how we came to the project to where we are, wait, that one looked like it was right in the middle though. How is that only 60? Anyway, so yeah, that's how we got to where we are. Things happened at that workplace, and I got an offer from the place that I used to work at to work directly with them. And so now they are my client. Well, it's not the same people that I used to work for. It's the people that are there and they use the apps. They hired me directly. And so I'm working on those apps again, but this time as a self-employed developer, doing that full time. Yeah, nice jute. Very nice jute. Crushed it. 92. But still, I like the big gamey shots better. Pew. 40-20. Oh my gosh. 40-20.5. 40-20.7. This archery game that you see at the bottom of the stream is done completely in Blazor. So the UI and everything for it was written in Blazor. The arrow animation is pure CSS, no JavaScript involved, just HTML and CSS. And the archer was created in Figma. Right here. Nope. Right here. That was really fun. The arrow was created in Figma. The target was created in Figma. Yeah. That's like super difficult. That should give you extra points because it's on the marquee and it's super tiny. Jeez. Yes. Nice, Lucas. Thanks for the bits. 99. You got a 99 with that small target. Holy cow. Some changes I'm going to make to that are making it so that when you will get more points the longer the arrow stays in the air, which means that it was a harder shot because you took a higher angle than you needed, for example. Other things that we can do is add wind, and that should be fairly possible since I do have a form of physics set up in both the X and the Y direction. And yeah, that's it. Go Dukesoft. You're gonna win at this. Another one that you should get more points on. Oh geez. That's why he's called a bit gamey. I get it. Okay. Excuse me. Don't mind me. Oh. Hey, it played the sound more than once. So I was having an issue where because the sound is an audio source that gets added to the DOM, it only played once because then when I destroyed it and re-added it to the DOM, it still kept it cached and at the same played position, so it never reset the position of the audio file, but it seems like it did that time. Awesome. 96. Man, you guys are killing it. Added wind for you. Nice. Okay, are we back to working? So this is our functioning application, or so I say that it is functioning. Oh, right. So we verified that it still works. It still does all the things. We haven't seen this app as the developer on this project for 2 months or so. I have no idea how long we spent on the UI redesign, but it was a really long time. or the designer took to do that. So we're now going to reface this landing page. We're going to make it look like the page that the designer gave us in all form factors. So ultra wide, regular desktop, widescreen, medium desktop, and mobile. And so in order to do work, because we are responsible developers, we are going to create issues, which there are still a whole bunch of issues. And there are open item. So if anyone is interested in a stream project that they just want to have experience with contributing to GitHub, you are more than welcome to contribute to this application. Take any of the issues, especially those that say good first issue or help wanted, and aren't already assigned. I think we have ongoing work, but point is that right now I need to create a new issue. So if you're around TBD Gamer and you have the ability to distract yourself with typing, I don't want to take you away from doing whatever you're doing. Do you, since you are making a project planning application, do you have a suggestion for how I should proceed with creating work items for the redesign? Because to me, and I'm gonna say this completely wrong because I'm just gonna get it wrong. The overall process of redesigning the UI would be an epic, and then there would be, and I don't know why there would be user stories, because I don't know. It just doesn't seem right to have user stories for this part, but each of the sections would be a story. So the top bar is a story about being able to easily see what application they're in. It's identified by its logo, by the title, and what actions they can perform quickly and easily with the navigation menu. The hero section is a story that says, I was invited to do this and take action on this, and there was a pleasing image. When you teach a wolf to meditate, then that wolf becomes a werewolf. Nice. I really like that one. I'm good at creating issues, says Dukasoft. The track transactions section. Story that says, it told me about some of the functionalities that the app can do. View transaction history. Told me about some of the functionality it can do. The footer section. So each of these becomes a story, but the task on each of these would be different as well. So probably start with the story for the layout, the overall layout of the landing page. Let me write this down. And again, is this story? I could use a lot of help with this. Is a story specific to the viewpoint of users, or are stories also allowed to be dev stories or client stories? Because it doesn't really make sense for me to do that, but at the same time, it doesn't make sense for me to write user stories on the layout of an application as opposed to the functionality of an application. But yeah, like what I would do is I would have one overarching story, I guess, that is when I came to the site, I saw this beautiful, inviting, redesigned application, and it was appealing and it was nice and I loved it. But then I would add tasks underneath that. Because I'm not implementing any new features. I am only doing work for changing the UI. All of these elements are already here, if I recall correctly. Yeah. So I don't know. I struggle with what to call what. Especially since I haven't declared that I'm doing anything like Agile. I'm just keeping track of the work that I'm doing. So yeah, advice is welcome. And the first advice I will absolutely take, which is start with the story for the UI design. But then again, that's not really what GitHub issues are for. Did you try asking your AI overlords? I have not yet. I have not. That might be a good way for me to get some inkling on what should be called what. But I guess another question is, should I be using GitHub to do this? Like, should I be creating issues for these things? Because these issues to me, again, are tasks, coding tasks. I wish Liquid Sky was already ready for me. Me too. I just don't want to have to go to multiple apps. Like I am used to working in Azure DevOps exclusively. Or I don't want to say exclusively. Which I'm logged out of right now. I don't know what it is. Yes, they signed it. So for example, in water management, the app I was trying to show earlier, I have these work items. I only ever keep at most 2 bugs or tasks and 1 feature active, but yeah, right here. So yeah. I just have trouble categorizing where exactly or what work item type. Last AI. What work item? Oh yeah. So as you can see in Azure DevOps, what I was trying to get at, thank you, Dukesoft, is that I have the project management UI stuff separate from the code itself, which the code is also hosted in Azure DevOps. It's in it's using the Git repo, just taking the files, version control instead of Team Foundation version control. Although I used to use Team Foundation version control, as you can see, but right now it is specifically Git version control. But there is a separate section entirely for work items, the board, if I was to put anything on boards and do it like a Trello style, or not Trello, Kanban style board. Trello just happens to use Kanban. Backlogs, if I had sprints, they would be in here. All of that stuff. And that is a separate section from the version control stuff. GitHub feels different to me, where it all feels like it's specific to version control, even though this is kind of the project management stuff. This is kind of the pipelines. Just, it doesn't feel as segregated to me. Okay, TBD Gamer says that Poke developer not getting his button gear. Oh, hold on. Let's start with Napalms. Napalm said, OMG, I'm going to flip a table. Anal colleague has decided he is okay with just using JSON for comparisons. I hate my life. I don't know what that means. TBD Gamer says that Poke developer not getting his button gear. And Dukesoft said, woohoo, Azure DevOps. I love Azure DevOps. So then TBD says, I think when we have to do technical stories and we hold to that it has to be user-focused story guidance, we end up trying to stick square pegs into round holes. Exactly. In this case, you could argue that the layout, as you said, creates a pleasing entry point to the application. I wouldn't implement navigation in there. I would just make the page. There's value in having all the color scheme and general layouts in place. Napalm says, deep clone hoops was to avoid my colleague complaining. I mean, it kind of sounds like they might have a personality type where it doesn't matter what you do, they aren't going to be happy with it. They will find the thing that is wrong with whatever it is that you do. Some people are. Which is not a bad thing. It's just annoying to most people. So yeah, so when I'm thinking about creating this in GitHub as an issue, first of all, I don't like the name issue because issues sound like here's work that you need to do because something went wrong. We got an exactly for which one of those? For GitHub issues or the complaining? The issues, yeah. So this is probably a misnomer where this is really just your work items. Feel the same on the naming convention there. Same with the projects tab. Both feel off. Hello, sandwich. I want a sandwich for lunch. I think I'm going to have a sandwich for lunch. That sounds tasty. Okay, so we are going to call this our UI layout redesign. Then we're going to call it a... Yeah, and this is the thing, like the labels that we get stock, which we can create our own labels, but the labels that we get stock are like, there's nothing that this really fits in. Other than maybe enhancement, but it's not a new feature, but it is a request from the client. So I don't know. It's like they don't intend this to be a project management functionality type thing. Me. This is for Finance Man. Not on milestones, no development on it. Okay, so and projects, to get any depth to the items you create, you have to make them an issue. Yeah, exactly. So the project here is the financial management tracker, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And lo and behold, you click on a project because it's actually not connected to the repository. Rant, rant, rant. You're allowed. You are absolutely allowed. It's not that it's not good enough. See, I'm doing it now where it's like anything that sounds like a misrepresentation of what I said, I need to correct, even though it's exactly what you said. I'm just going to reframe it. It's not that it's not good enough. It's just that it is the natural habit or natural behavioral habit. That's the only word that I can come up with right now, but it's the wrong word. For some people to see the thing that is incorrect about a thing. So it's not that it's not good enough, not on the deepest level. It's just that it's not quite right. which is exactly the same thing that you just said, just reframed to make it not sound so bad. Oh, watching myself do it is the worst. Yeah, I can't even write this as a story because now I'm calling it an enhancement. So I'm not even going to think about it like a story. Um, yeah, and then like when I do this, do I still create tasks and associate them with this? BD says to Napalm, today I had to wrap some code in a structure to run properly. I instinctively wanted to organize the 450 line method into sub-methods. I chose not to because the person reviewing it would consider it an unnecessary change. It is a very necessary change. Single responsibility. But the person reviewing it would see it as, you don't need that. I just want to call one method. And when I'm debugging, I just want to see all the code in that one method that I can step through. I mean, don't do something so we don't annoy the reviewer. Yeah, that is a terrible, terrible motivator. um, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just doing it this way. Cause like the main issue is, I'm saying issue because it's the word that's there. The main situation that's going on for me, the main reason I am struggling with this so much is because I name my branches after the task or issue or whatever that they are for, which I'm sure a lot of people do. And if I have one work item that is apply the redesigned UI, then I'm going to have this branch with however many changes it takes to apply the redesigned UI. I'm going to be creating new components. I'm going to be rearranging code. Yeah. I like your naming convention and I really want to use it. It's just I never remember what the pattern is. Mine is just work item number dash short description. But yeah, I know that my branches and my commits and even my PRs should be focused as opposed to as broad as let's do the entire redesign of the landing page. Feature / Jira project, chore / and bug fix / I've never used chore before. I don't think I'd feel comfortable calling something a chore. Because, like, that would indicate that it's something that I'm not enjoying doing. And even if there are moments that I don't enjoy from a process, I still typically enjoy the whole thing. Chore is routine stuff that isn't a feature or fix, like updating NuGets. Yeah, I'd call that maintenance. Just because maintenance sounds more, I don't know, work related. That's sure, less typing. Nice. Okay, well, how about this then? Here's my first chore. Create work or tasks for each part of the UI redesign. Label, edit labels, new label, chore, routine work, not specific to task bug. Sure, that's a good color. Did I lose the work item because I clicked on edit labels? No. Okay. You can still click back. My beard is trying to go into my mouth. You are not food. Oh geez, it's also capitalized and nothing else is capitalized. I apologize to those of you with OCD that saw that. I am fixing it now. Menasai. All right, fixed. So yes, this is actually something that is, oh, maint slash. This is actually something that is somewhere. Chore, trim beard. It is a chore. Oops, not C. Just semantic branch names. Well, this is someone's repo that I don't know who they are. But yes. Aiding grunt tasks. Conventional commit. Yeah. Well, in this case, there aren't going to be any commits associated with this. I'm just going to do it. Where is... Yes, I did submit it. Look at him go. Status. In progress. Wait, is that this? I always forget. Is this the status for the project itself or for this work item? It's got to be the work item. Oh, swimwear. Wait. That's not swimwear. Swim lane. Okay, so you think it's a swim lane. Swim lanes, for those of me that didn't know right off the top of my head, but I used NI to understand what a swim lane is let's say you're in a Kanban board. These are swim lanes. I would have asked you what a swim lane is if I didn't see that recently. Okay, so it's active and we're creating these issues. And so in an effort to start coding today, we're going to do some more chore first. So layout is what you said we should call it. UI layout redesign. And I think you're right. I agree with you completely. Man, I sure am giving myself a lot of tasks. Okay. Implement the layout for the new UI landing page. Actually, just overall layout. You're right. And I would, like, if this were an official project thing, I would include links to the Figma design, for example, so that whoever is assigned the task has all the resources they need inside of the work item. One thing that I have really disliked from the previous job was when the project manager would assign a task with some generic phrase as the subject, no, like if it's a bug, no reproduction steps, no extra information to why are words escaping me? Disambiguate what it is that they're talking about. And they leave it up to me to investigate. Oh no. I see someone that might be encountering that very same issue. And it's like, just include, maybe a screenshot or some kind of supporting documentation, please. A little bit more details than the button on the page is broken. Hey, thanks. Yeah, or a napkin from lunch. Just take a picture of the napkin from lunch. Nice. I used to write on napkins all the time. Like actual swaths of code. When I was in Virginia doing a developmental position thing and I was out eating out somewhere and the only thing I had was a napkin near me and I'm like, that's how I'm gonna do that. And then hack with pen and napkin. Although I did carry a pen with me everywhere. Okay, so layout for the new UI. Another item is going to be, oops. It's Community Day. You don't code on Community Day. Community Day is on Friday. Community Day is every stream, but Friday is a special type of Community Day. Why is community so hard to say now? Community. 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 No, it isn't. It's Wednesday. This is my Friday. Nice. Nice. I hope you, those of you that are getting time off for whatever reasons, I hope you thoroughly enjoy it. 2 Fridays. But I will be streaming on Friday. I will not be taking any of this time away from the stream. I'm actually working tomorrow too, because you don't work, you don't bill. And when you're self-employed. I mean, I will still be celebrating. Yeah, whereas fireworks is actually exploding money in the air. No, stop. Moving on. The fireworks happen in the evening, so even if I were going to attend a fireworks event to view fireworks, it'd be in the evening, so I still have all day to get stuff done. Yeah. My parents, my dad especially, is really into buying fireworks for the occasion. And yes, I know people. I'm getting there. So fireworks. So like 1 year, I remember him buying a couple $1,000s worth of fireworks, and I was like, and we got an hour, 2 hours out of it, maybe. Like, that is a very expensive 2 hours. Saturday, they're having burger and hot dogs while tapping away at the keyboard. Oh, one lion sat there having burgers and hot dogs while I was like, what's happening on Saturday? While tapping away at the keyboard, $ springing up above his head. I'm not doing this for the money. Oh my gosh. I know it sounded like that, but I'm not. Doing it because I really enjoy programming, and the only valid reason that people will accept for me working on a holiday is for money. So that's why I say that, and then I end up feeling bad because it sounds like I'm just after the money. I really love programming. I really do. As much as I don't do it on stream lately. What else do we have? Just stream the fireworks. Problem solved. True. I'm jaded and despise my job right now, so I'm going to do the programming I do love on stream tomorrow. Yes. Awesome. I mean, I am likely to be on a keyboard while eating barbecue. See? If you're going to be in front of a computer anyway, may as well. No, just regular work days for me though. And I do spend my evenings with just my wife. This is why I don't really catch Mojo's streams. Like last night, my wife and I watched a movie, and I try to give her as much of my evening and weekends as I can because I want to and I enjoy it. I was working while I was at Sagetti. I was working the day job there and working in the evenings after cooking. So I want to make sure that I'm balancing that properly because I enjoy it. Okay, anyway, I need to make more items. I will do that before the next stream. On Friday, we will still have Community Day, but I'll go ahead and start doing some of the UI redesign. Hopefully we'll actually be coding. I'll show the process that I do when I get a project. I don't think it's going to be the same flow that I had when I started at the client with Sagetti, because theirs was pretty much I ripped apart the UI and created new Blazor component libraries. Success! We derailed 90% of the stream. If you want to call it derailing, again, it's whatever content you want to see. I would call it a success that we talked about the things you were interested in talking about. We went the direction that you wanted to go. I'm really happy we were able to. Cool. All right. So today, as I'm lurking on everyone's stream, we are going to head over to Finite Singularity. He is an amazing person and developer. He's currently making plugins for OBS. And and this is why you don't say no to clients. When they realize they used your time in the wrong way, you just hold back, told you so. It all falls into place. It's not a told you so. Reframed. It is definitely an I told you so. Like, my reframing of that statement is, I gave you the opportunity to allow me to continue in the direction that you wanted me to go that we had already talked about, but you told me to go this other direction. I brought it up and I said, hey, you're sending me in this direction. We're not going to get this done. And then in the end, this is the product that you get, even though it's almost always all of it from me. But in the end, it's like, okay, this is where we're at. Let us continue together. Are you still happy with the quality of the products that I'm giving you? Products and services? Yes. Let's continue. And that's what's going on now. Awesome. So good. Anyway, Finite Singularity. Like Dukasoft posted, I will be sending the VOD of this stream to YouTube. And I'll be back again on Friday, like I said, for Community Day. For those of you that don't know, Community Day is a day, Community Day. Oh my gosh, can't type. Is a day where I invite you. I give up. Where I invite you to bring up topics that you would like to discuss. Double Community Day. Oh yeah, and TBD Gamers. There's a day after that I forgot. Anyway, TBD Gamer will be streaming on Friday. For 4 hours, I think you said, for a Q&A. Let's pick apart Liquid Sky, ask about these technologies, ask about software. Very, very focused, and yeah, it's going to be cool. So be there, and then I will have my normal Community Day as well. Okay, but yeah, until next time, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you all for being here. We're going to head over to Finite. Again, he's working in OBS plugins. They look amazing. I think he was able to successfully release yesterday. I hadn't heard much of his stream today because I was streaming. But yeah, ciao.